overall. We have seen it pop up a couple of times. It's a stable first phase pick. It's not that great. It's not your... I don't think it should be in the first stage, but if you like the hero, if you're comfortable on it, it's flexible, it can go offlane, mid, also it gives you that pushing power. So
doesn't show anything, very versatile, has push potential, has a guaranteed lockdown, is good at every stage of the game, damage reduction against all these summons coming up from Breathe Fire and Draw Ranger, which is going to be big. They need something that can kill Egg. We saw that's the hero. Like sometimes it's all it takes, like just leap, extra attack speed coming out from Mirana, and this combo. We also seen that a couple of times. Just Dragon Tail into Arrow. Faceless Void still in the pool. It's also great hero against everything that Evil Corporation has. Like just locking them down with Chronosphere. There is not a single save.
There's also the Slark for 5Comrades. It's maybe an option versus the Drow. I really like the fact that they picked the Mirana as an answer to Phoenix too. I hate seeing heroes such as Jug pop up, especially when you have a Beastmaster as well versus you. But this combo from EC, like I said, in the first game I like their draft. Now again, yeah, Beastmaster is countered by Enchantress, but the grand scheme of things is still there. You have a very solid team fight with the Treant and Phoenix. Your Beastmaster and Drow are pretty good too, like Beastmaster buffs up the Drow. It looks very solid from them so far.
This is also an old school combination of two heroes, Phoenix plus Treant. They group up around the Egg, try to hit it. You use ulti. Ooh. That's an interesting one. They don't have the answer for Timbersaw. They still have one more hero, should be their mid laner. Who deals well? I mean...
Storm, perhaps.
I suggested yesterday something a bit different. OD. Like, this is the hero that...
It's just dead, man.
I don't know. You'll see. It's also great for setting things up with... Nah, that's on the enemy team. Never mind. I'm just saying that.
just
like, at first... But then no.
Let it rest in peace. OD is just gone. It needs a couple of buffs. I think if you're EC, getting that Storm would round your lineup up quite well. You would have a hero that gets you that mixed damage versus the Timbersaw. They don't really have any catch whatsoever. Dragon Tail, perhaps, that's it. You can lane versus the Dragonite too fairly easily. You benefit from the Drow.
That's a good ban. That Prophet. It's hero that loves to group up, and everything Evil Corporation have right now is just team fight. They don't have the pick-off potential. Beastmaster could be the one ganking, but this lineup is same what they lost to in the previous game. Just, 5 strong man lineup.
Also, from EC, what I really like with Drow is when she's not really threatened as much, and you can deal with that multiple ways. One of the ways is to just have strong frontliners. The other is to have a different team fighting focal point, such as Phoenix's Egg. If he is initiating, you have to deal with the Egg. And then you also have Treant there, who brings a ton of control in these team fights until the BKBs come, and even after. So it's like the synergy of EC is on a very good level. They just need to find a way to deal with the Timber now.
They have no burst. That's the problem. One of the reasons why they banned out Morphling. Like, you can't just bring down the hero instantly. And these are two tanky cores. You have Dragonite, you have Timbersaw, which are naturally tanky, high armor, a lot of strength. Phoenix will deal damage at the later stages of the game with the Sunray, but like, Treant Protector doesn't provide any kind of burst. Beastmaster damages, they're locked down slow, but you don't have that hero yet who can just burst down people. Something like Alina, possibly, that can upgrade to be pure damage with the Aghanim Scepter.
Do you only rely on the Mirana when it comes to the Egg as well? It's fine early on. Later on, it can get a little bit difficult because you just also pick the hero that doesn't hit at all in the form of this Timbersaw. So I would hate to see the same thing happening like yesterday, in which Phoenix is just solo winning the game from that position 5 or 4. as you can't deal with Yeg at all.
Yeah, Dragon Knight's attack speed is not that great. Same goes for Timbersaw, especially if Chakram is out, means you can't even attack. Banks, what do you think? What do you think the last pick is going to be?
Let's go with logic.
You know Dragon Knight and you know Axe, so one is already picked.
It's definitely not going to be Axe.
Yeah.
That would be a terrible choice.
Okay, they have an Ember. So basically what 5Comrades is trying to do here is to get more heroes that can get on top of Drow. So you need that reach. These carry heroes that we talked about earlier have been banned out. Your PL, Slark, and Spectre are all out of the game. So they go with something different. They go with the Ember instead. They are still flexible when it comes to setting up their lanes. Ember can go mid, Dragon Knight can go mid, Timber can go mid. So these three heroes literally can go on any single lane. They just have to adapt to what Evil Corp takes in the end. But still, for me, Storm Spirit looks
Storm, Puck,
great.
the one
Yeah,
that comes
Puck
to my
as well.
mind. Storm is much better laner.
And scales a bit better than
Yeah,
Puck, right?
especially against the Dragon Knight. If they decide to put Dragon Knight on the mid lane, Storm does much better than Puck. You need a playmaking hero. You need someone that you have like Beastmaster and Treant to hold them in place, but you want someone to make space until that one critical moment where your lineup is just, yeah, let's go together, let's try to do stuff, take the towers, go for Roche.
Batrider is banned out, never mind. Like, that would have been a sick pick for them too.
They could get Necro. Yeah, man, I love Necro. Necro actually melts all these three heroes. It's insanely good. It dominates.
The only problem with
Ember
Necro-
Spirit in the lane, Aura. They have no magical burst damage to bring him down other than Timbersaw.
There's one slight problem for the Necro if they decide to go for it. You have Enchantress who's just taking away your Shroud, right?
That's true.
With Enchant, but it's still pretty solid. Oh, all right.
Okay, I forgot about this hero, so he can break down
This is your
both of these heroes, which is actually good, and he's a great laner against Ember Spirit. That's pretty smart. I'm going with Evil Corporation.
and this is your best of one pick right here. You go with something like you could go with Storm, but then you're kinda expecting your mid laner to do really well and play a good game, or you could just give him a Viper, and like you just can't play poorly on this guy.
It's a disgusting lineup.
It's a disgusting lineup with a disgusting last pick.
A lot of slow coming out from Viper, Drow Ranger, Boar. Man, this lineup is actually insanely good, I would say. It's gonna take some time for them to build up. You're not best at ganking. Viper's not the mobile hero that goes from lane to lane, starts the fight, but they just want to group up and at one point force them. Like if enemy does not want to fight you, if they just keep dodging, you can go into Roche Pit, try to force a fight.
You're gonna have to rotate this Mirana around the 2-3 minute mark towards this mid lane to try and help out whoever is there. With a couple of good arrows, if you manage to make this Viper into a creep, like killing him once or twice, ganking him on that mid lane, then you can open up different playstyles for you in which you're trying to bait out these big ultis and then play afterwards, because your only big ulti is pretty much Dragon Knight form, and that's it. Everything else you can play with constantly on a higher tempo. So make Viper not really a threat, and then deal with everyone else with their cooldowns.
And they can do that. There's Timbersaw as your offlaner most likely, so you can leave him alone once he hits level 3, which means that Mirana can go around and make some space for other lanes.
But we're thinking very much EC from both of you by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game is way easier for them. There's a way for 5Comrades to take it, but it's going to be an uphill battle.
So draft-wise at the moment, definitely for EC, but can be a lot different in the game. Do you have faith that 5Comrades can execute this, potentially?
No, yeah, I definitely do, because not only because they have these chances, they have the Ember, they have ways of getting on top of Drow. They're also more known overall. Like, just looking at the names, looking at the players and the experience in the pro scene, that's where you kind of lean towards them. But if you're really trying to solely be analytical, looking at the drafts, Evil Corporation should take it.
Well, let's see if they do. It's the last chance in the last group through this qualifier. Let's see who's going to seal the deal. Is it going to be Evil Corporation or is it going to be 5Comrades? We've got Whoa, that was confusing. KP and Pycat, they're both looking up at the sky.
We're twins now.
What the hell?
It was a long process we got there. We see him, he sees me, and I see a game. Hopefully, a close game. Because, you know, last game, I don't know if you caught up Pycat, that best of one was pretty dominant. And if we get another one of those kind of affairs, we might start needing safe words on this stream.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I kind of agree with what Lizard was saying. It's like on the Radiant side, I would say the players might be more prominent, but I also think that the Evil Corp drafts is definitely easier to execute. It's pretty straightforward, and they have the break against like the Viper DK, and Viper should do quite well in this lane.
I feel like our assessment is coming down to, you know, there's like draft for Evil Corp, smooth brain, all right, but maybe with the quality of players on the Radiant side, big brain. So what cancel?
Yes.
Man.
Yeah, they got cancelled, man. You never know what you're getting.
I mean, he's getting a painful lane, I think is what he's realizing here. This is not a fun lane for the Ember Spirit at all.
I think the first, I mean, like, it's like when the Ember gets level 3 or 5, I think you're kind of happy because Viper doesn't deal all that much magic damage, so I think you're kind of fine to just push the lane and go farm jungle. But before that, it might get a little bit dicey.
Oh, gets dicey in the top lane. They actually run down the Timber Sword level 1 as he did go for the reactive armor. Got pummeled into.
Yeah,
Maybe-
Treant deals a lot of damage on level 1 with the Nature's Grasp, and they have the Frost Arrow slow and the Orb of Venom, so basically can't move at all.
It doesn't spell well for the Timber in that situation, right? Because usually if you're going for the reactive armor level 1, you should be known unkillable. Because we see two types of builds, right? They kind of just tank me up versus the full in on your nukes, because you know you can get kills on the lane.
Yeah, I think when you opt for this build, you want to just, you know, at some point, you want to be able to just sit there. They're going to try to go on the Treant once more. Shouldn't really be happening.
No, Snorf is kind of winning out against this, and Flash is almost dead already.
I think as soon as you get level 3 on the Timber, you should be just fine. You shouldn't really be dying in this lane.
That's true. It's just a painful slog to that point. And once Timber does get those levels, that's when Flash can begin to rotate. Because, you know, you mentioned the Ember with the chains in the mid. That's a good setup for rotations onto this Viper with those arrows, right? Like, that is the risk for Bellagio. This isn't a game in which the supports can't rotate on you.
Yeah, it's like one of the classic combos, just some chains into arrow. Very easy to set up kills. We do see Cancel quite far ahead right now, though, in terms of CS. Only 5 CS on the Viper so far.
Yeah, I mean, should it happen that hard? He has gone for the Sleight of Fist build, so you put a little bit more pressure on the Viper, and you can dodge out a hit or two there. But, I mean, it still is a Viper.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to... I mean, Ember has a slightly higher base damage, and he is a melee hero, but I don't feel like it shouldn't be this kind of... I mean, now he's evening out, right? It's just the creeps are under his tower, so it's kind of whatever at this point.
In the bot lane, there's been a lot of pressure on OME. He's burning through most of his regen already. And it's a bit painful when you go for this move start and you don't feel like you can pressure that hard. Say that, Shirley is almost getting killed into Davai Lama. Dives through for it, but the Fairy Fire should keep the Enchantress alive.
Yeah, this bottom lane is not... like, it doesn't feel like the most exciting lane. It's just the DK, and it's kind of hard to harass him for this beast. It's like some supports, they can trade some hits, and they can get low and, you know, buy some regen. Maybe one of them dies, but it's not a super interesting lane so far.
No, it's not often you say Dragon Knight's an interesting laner, right? It's just kind of like, you can't kill me, I can't really kill you. I say that if Lama is almost being killed. It's a good thing he's got more regen coming out because he's being kept on the edge constantly down here.
Yeah, we have some lurking Murana on the mid lane. But he is
under the ward.
Yeah.
And apparently Bellagio doesn't care that he has a ward. He's on the wrong side of the creeps, and it's an easy kill for Cancel. We did say this was kind of like, you know, the smooth brain versus the big brain, and I'd say Cancel's off to a pretty formidable start already in this mid lane, just 3 minutes in.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's up on CS, and he got the solo kill. Oh, not. I think he got the solo XP at least, so.
Yeah, it looked like Flash was keeping clear for a bit, and actually Flash is coming back again. This time Bellagio should be a little bit more careful. Luckily for him, Arrow's got a long cooldown, and Flash has been farming creeps a bit. But they could easily jump him now. Like, that's the other issue. Once the Ember has 6, if you haven't applied pressure to the Viper, how do you ever really kill Cancel in this lane?
Yeah, there's not really any way for this Ember to die after that. Like the only way to kill this Ember on like later on is with some Treant or some silences coming out of the Drow. Or unless he messes up and commits too hard.
And in that situation, like it's not like they're going to be rotating anytime soon. You want to try and keep pressure on the Timber, keep him shut down as much as you can, which is effective so far. I mean, Flemmeister is doubling up Bloody Sky in terms of CS. But XP-wise, they're at least even. That's courtesy of the space that Flash has been giving, while also greedily farming with his arrow in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, this lane should get... I mean, Timber, at some point, he should be kind of happy up here. Maybe, though, once the Drow gets the marksmanship, he might not be as safe.
Yeah, that's kind of the critical point. You can already see that Snorpy's starting to give a wider berth. A wider berth given to the bot lane as the rotation comes in from Cancel, gets 2 kills quickly. And at the same time, they go top on the Bloody Sky to try and get some vengeance, but looks like he's out of there. Comrades actually negotiated this one. They worked it out together, and they're like, well, Timber's tanky enough to be left on his own. You can already see there's a rotation back towards mid as well, which Cancel might consider after he comes back after having refilled that bottle.
Yeah, they do have this ward up here already, and Cancel might try to just shove the lane and then try to go into the jungle and try to find this Viper, who just wants to stack neutrals and farm with his Nether Toxin.
You should be able to force him back to the lane as well, right? Because you got that catapult that's going to press you a tower. You don't want to forfeit that too early, so he may actually just bait himself into his own death.
Yeah, this might be an ideal scenario where they can, you know, potentially get a kill on the Viper and some neutral creeps. So,
well, you know how it is. When you're a core, you just want to hit creeps. But he's a little bit hesitant. He's moving around the right way about it, but it's too late. Arrow's going to come through. Viper Strike doesn't do diddly squat. Cancel will be able to pick up another kill.
I almost managed to die to the neutrals there. And so far the big brains are beating the big strats.
Yeah, it's one thing to have the ideal lineup, it's another to execute it. Like, when you talk about Drow-based lineups, they can be incredibly potent, but it feels like more often than not, they do kind of skirt this fine line, right? It's so fragile. Like, if you catch Flemmeister out at the critical moment in the game, all of a sudden the entire strategy falls to pieces.
Yeah, I do think though that like eventually the easy lineup, I mean, it's very easy for them to kind of scale into team fights with the Treant and the Beastmaster and the Phoenix, setting up you know, some proper egg combos and then just Beastmaster roaring whatever target is needing to roar. It's gonna be kind of easy for them to play. They have easy ways of taking towers and farming and taking Roche as well.
That's true, and like when you make the comparison, it really feels like 5Comrades peak in that mid game, right? Like if Dragon Knight is your carry, we have seen games where they can perform well in the late game, but it's versus a Drow, it's versus a Beastmaster, versus a Viper.
Yeah, they don't have the one
not.
true carry.
The good news though is right now E-Corp really don't have a mid. I mean, Village has been pummeled into the dirt, dead 3 times already in this game, and no, Cancel's not done there. He sees another kill, gets a double kill as he kills Shayley as well. I don't know if you want to be here, Flemmeister. I mean, they could just kill him right now. Moving in. Hey, I've got the chains. He didn't have the mana for it.
Yeah, I think if he had just continued to chase, he would have gotten the chains off.
Works out in the top lane in the meantime, though. It does feel like E-Corp are being forced into this small area of the map where they feel safe already, and we're not even 10 minutes into this game.
Yeah, and I think quite a bit of it has to do with kind of how the Viper, like even this early death where he has the ward on the Mirana, but he still manages to die. Like these things, you know, kind of it escalates, right? And now the Ember, he's level 9 almost, and Viper's level 7.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a bit rough because usually the way we see that kind of these matchups against Viper breakdown is he does take the lead in terms of CS or kills, and then there are rotations which kind of reset the balance. Usually around I want to say like 10-12 minute mark, but these rotations came in so early that the supports weren't ready to start rotating and brawling in the mid lane. Brawling is occurring right now as Treant gets brought down.
Yeah, a lot of these kills have kind of been set up with this, just the chains into arrow combo so far.
Yeah, it's one of those cheap combinations, right? Like some people always on about Bane and Mirana. It's like, sure, it's cool, but the nature of like Ember is you're not really going for what almost feels kind of like a gimmicky combo. It just happens, it happens, and there's more than enough time to land a long stun every time. These chains are reasonable and balanced. Snorpy. Wishes he had trees right now, but Bloody Sky is ensuring there's less of them. I don't think he's even threatened for a second by Bellagio here. There's already a rotation coming in as well. The smoke from Comrade to the top lane. But it was read correctly by Viper. He gets out. They realize there's no protecting the tower. Snorpy's able to escape as well. I don't know why they're pinging the bot lane. I don't think Exotic Deer is necessarily a kill here. Maybe with a third hero.
No, I mean, okay, he's gonna stun and just get out, maybe. Nope.
No, that's not going to work. Primal Roar, it was ambitious. Now you can say it was bait if he didn't go down. Maybe if Cancel gets some in return, it still feels that way. He does have 2 remnants to work with. He could get the rune and kill Owned Me, but he decides to be greedy with his remnants. We'll still get the kill. And while that happens, Treant does go down in his own base as the dive coming in.
Yeah, the early game is looking kind of rough right now for Evil Corp. Their heroes are they're lagging way too far behind in levels. Phoenix only level 5 just now, and Treant also level 5.
That's a big difference to highlight, right? Like, if this Phoenix had 6 in that bottom engagement, you can get the kill and then repel the rest of 5Comrades. They won't commit on the egg at this stage. Because when you look at the lineup, like, that's one of the big weaknesses. Other than the Mirana, like, who's going to take out this egg? I think it's some of the panel here. And it's more or less Flash's job to seek and kill the egg.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's just up to Mirana to kill this egg. There's not really anyone else who can do it. And I think that, you know, like, as soon as they do get these levels, like, when they get their 6 on Tree and on Phoenix, they should be looking to group up and kind of bait Comrade into some kind of 5-on-5 engagements.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Problem is how far you're going to be behind when you finally force that situation. Because that gold lead is growing. And I mean, I feel like that death on Exotic Deer maybe shouldn't happen. But is that one of those moments, like, you've probably been there before, where you're playing the carry role and you're just chilling, you're just farming for ages, and they kind of catch you off guard, and then it resets your mind, and you realize, oh, there's actually a whole enemy team in this game that can still kill me.
Yeah, he got caught a little bit off guard. I mean, he's just sitting there happily farming, trying to get his blink, and he didn't really expect the rotation from the Viper.
Oh.
He saw him just top.
Well, Primal Roar was just wasted. Cancel was protected by the Moonlight Shadow because it seems Evil Corp forgot what detection is. Alright,
Yeah, they do have the 6 on Phoenix now. Treant's still half a level away.
the question is, what can you really do with it? I mean, Cancel's just casually sniping Corey, is dragging all the attention, and while that's happening, not only Dragonite, but also the Timbersaw are pushing past. Cancel's doing kind of everything he needs to, and the arrow coming out, jump in, Flash gets a bit greedy, able to move away, the egg does get committed, and Cancel, he's hunting for the kill to Bellagio, he wants it, he has to move away to the Remnant before the egg goes pop. They will be able to catch him with the Divine Llama. It's not the easiest kill, he still has the wand and the hood to work with, so it's not an easy kill by any length. Snorpy will go down after they get rid of the Enchantress. Now Cancel hunting in with the assist of the Bloody Sky. They dive on the chair. They'll turn around now on Own Me. And with Exotic Deer here with the Blink reveals, able to bring down the Beastmaster as well. So triple kill for Cancel. And I don't feel like he's ever going to leave this mid lane area. This is his new home.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real reason why he would leave. You know, he can play around his remnants and he can play around the runes. And if they keep coming like this one by one, like, there's just no point to ever go back. Like, they can just keep running at these heroes, and it's so easy for them.
And you see how confident he feels, right? Not just the fact he's playing those deep areas, but when you think about his item build, usually when you look at E-Corp type of lineup, you're an Ember Spirit, you're going, okay, I really need a use, or maybe an early BKB. But immediately, he's just been getting these like cheap value items. He's got the drums, the medallion, now he's going back to the blade mail. It's all about how quickly can we close this map a bit.
Yeah, he just wants to continue, keep fighting. Like, what Jules does is, yeah, it allows you to play through the silences and whatnot, but this kind of allows you to just go in there and just be there and tank, and you can soak up some damage, which allows your teammates to position themselves, play the game as well.
Well, position-wise, a lot of heroes in the overgrowth. Primal Roar comes out, Cancel. I wish he had that blade mail now. He's able to bring him down with that Primal Roar. Now chasing on the Flash, he doesn't have any leaps left, so he will fall to Own Me as he gets the double kill. However, the backline is being cut off a little bit by a man who likes to cut trees, but also heroes. As he brings down Charlie, and Bloody Sky will look to escape. They don't have any TPs to stop them.
Yeah, when you're like, the only way to cancel the port is just they're relying on some Beastmaster, you know, there's some Treant, and it's not that easy for them once those abilities are expended. But
No.
they still get they get a double kill on the Beast, so he's gonna have his book 1 now. He's going towards the book, like, once you get this book 3 on the Beastmaster, all of a sudden you can threaten towers very easily, and you can also threaten Roche.
Yeah, usually by this stage, you're talking about a beast who has a book and he's taking the tier 1 bot already. But in this game, like, these lanes are always pushed in as well. So even once he's got that book, it's a bit hard to get out in the lane and commit. That is the challenge he has to actually try and overcome.
Yeah, they might be able to kind of just group up though, like, and just kind of force these 5v5 engagements once he has some book. And it might not be the worst thing in the world. They need to keep in mind that they have to have detection, so they see them coming. But if they see the enemy team coming, I think fighting for them could potentially be advantageous, even though they're so far behind in terms of gold.
Especially if they can just double up in terms of item worth, right? They've now got the Necronomicon. You see the Atos is almost complete on Villager. Then he can be a hero again. Then Ember's maybe more greedy, less defensive build starts to backfire for Cancel a little.
Yeah, could definitely happen. We're gonna see. It looks like he is still trying to go for that Blade Mail. I'm curious if there's some other item that might have potentially been better to go for.
Overgrowth with the egg on the bloody sky. Silence him up as well. Exotic trying to move away. The dust does reveal him. The stun comes down to Beastmaster though. They're going to keep him stunned up with the Dragon Tails, but he can't even use the Primal Roar. Exotic will still burn up due to that Phoenix. But look at this. Cancel bring his own burns. Able to kill off Trin. It's a 2-for-2 exchange, but that was everything Evil Core really has. They'll have to retreat. The problem is that Cancel's still alive, and he's the most frustrating one that could be left. Arrow through. They don't want to hard commit. Not with Flensmeister sitting there. That's the hard one. Atos. A bit of cheeky poke and prod.
Yeah, both teams kind of just
really
fishing.
It's like they're fishing, but they know they can't commit on either side.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. The one thing though is like you can see that even though they're so far behind in terms of gold, they still manage to get these kills so easily on 2 cores, and they don't lose that much. And especially considering like the gold difference, and they didn't even get to use the Beastmaster Roar there in that fight. If he gets that off, could potentially see a completely different fight. So there's definitely some fight still left in Evil Core.
Yeah, they might want to dodge for maybe another 40 seconds, just get their cooldowns ready. There's no point going in half-cocked. You find a solo pick-off potentially, yeah, but you can see Comrade are actually stacked with all their cores nearby, so Beast might bait himself if he's not careful.
Oh. There's a lot of impetus damage there.
It's like, right, and you're stronger.
It's like you're diving away from the impetus, and you don't want to go back because you're gonna get hit by another one. But you don't know if you're gonna die to this one.
There's also a case like most of the time the engine's gonna have a centaur, so it's not like you can just TP the moment you see her, because there just might be a centaur comes out of the fog and instantly stuns you. Primal Roar, Phoenix stuns, goes out on Timber, able to lock him down, chain out, but it's not gonna be enough. He's not able to heal up. It's just broken too long. Good pick up. That's the one they went for.
He's playing a little bit too cocky with this Timber, like considering the fact that they do have the break on the Viper. And he's going for a Lotus Orb, and I'm thinking maybe he should be trying to get a Eul's of his own.
Meantime, they're trying to get a fight going. They'll be able to find Trin. Kalaja dodged out for the moment. The egg does go down. The Drow's given some space to work with. Exotic Deer trying to get through the egg. They realize too late it's not going to work though. They need some assistance right now. The burn's coming out on Exotic Deer, and he's feeling that burn. It's going to trickle him low and bring him down. Cancel is still able to hang around for the moment, but has to back away. Flensmeister does have that gust coming off cooldown. They are starting to drag this back. I mean, they've stopped the hemorrhaging, right? I don't think we're going above the 10k net worth lead at this point.
No, not just yet, at least. I think they're still losing in terms of like bounty runes and just in terms of what they're getting out of the map. They're definitely not getting as much farm, but you can see that despite all the net worth lead, the fighting is still not that easy for them.
No, it's that case of, yeah, you take this fight, but it's always on your side. You always commit everything. Your Drow isn't really off farming. She's forced to be in these engagements, so you can't even leverage that fact that you have the true +1 of this game. It's a rough one. And Cancel, because he now has that Blade Mail, it's not like the last few fights where they instantly jump him and pop him. You see, instead, they always try and now prioritize taking out Exotic Deer.
Yeah, and that's going to be possible up until he has his BKB, which should be relatively soon. I think he's like, what, some 1,000 gold away, maybe?
How do you feel about DK in the +1 role? We're seeing a lot more of it these days. Is that your type of kind of echelon of heroes, or you're not a big fan?
Well, I used to enjoy playing DK as a position 1 hero myself quite a bit. But I feel like it's very patch dependent and also kind of team dependent, I would say. If you have some players who are comfortable playing a more carry-esque mid-roll, then it can be very nice. Or if you just want to push the tempo a lot.
Davai Lama. It's gonna go down here. Looks like they should get the rest of the heroes out. That's a fair point as well, right? Like some teams, they tend to like leverage this combination of free players that can play the DK, right? Like we've seen teams that are able to flex it 3-1-2, and they kind of pivot that where the draft will not reveal anything until maybe the third or fourth pick in terms of who's going where.
Yeah, and when you can do it that way, then it becomes so much more efficient.
Timber, I mean, these item choices aren't feeling very efficient. The moment you use the Lotus, the Gust comes out. This is happening a little bit. Like, they are building the lead still, but it feels like it's getting a bit easier for eCorp to find these pickoffs. They're committing less each time. I'd say that. eCorp's the one getting picked off in the bot lane, though, as Beastmaster was caught out pushing, still not able to pressure that tier 1 tab.
Yeah, I think at this point you shouldn't even really like. I don't think you're allowed to be thinking too much about these towers because there are so many ways for them to fight. They have the Blink Dagger on the DK, and they also now have the BKB flying out. They have the Ember, and the reach of this Ember right now is he can, it's so easy for him to play the map with this face boots drums build. He can be pretty much anywhere, and they also have to consider the fact that there's a Moonlight Shadow. So attacking towers at this point is just very scary. They just need to stick together as much as they can without. Well, obviously they're getting slightly outfarmed, but they need to get what they can out of this map. And the gold, the net worth, it doesn't matter all that it doesn't matter too much to you, As long as you're getting what you can, then you should be fine with it.
I love how you're really taking to the caster life, I like that use of the word slightly when they're 14k ahead. It's
it's
a small hurdle to overcome.
It's I'm trying to.
You're being positive.
I'm trying to look at it from a a good angle for these guys. And to be fair,
it could be worse logic, right?
Definitely.
Like, could be worse. Your prone could be dead, but your heroes might be overgrowth, trying to bait them in and turn around. They don't have the egg combo with it they were forced to use it earlier, but Omi, he's still alive. Flash, however, is not so lucky. Primal is going to come out and exotic here, but he doesn't have the BKB. No Dragon Form for 20 seconds, though. Chase forward on Stormbeat. Both supports on the side of 5Comrades are dead, and only one on the side of eCorp. The dive does get punished and cancelled. I mean, he's felt very dominant up to this point, but starting to wane off a little. Lois able to move away. We'll reflect that ATOS back, and Cherry League hasn't got the ability to really stop Cancel from escaping. But they are being repelled time and time again. Oh, I say that. Exotic D is just casually finding kills on Omi. And he can't go for a TP either.
I feel like if he just went for it, I feel like right before the draw showed up, I think he could have just went for the Soul Ring TP out.
Yeah, I think he's worried about the ATOS. Like, he didn't know for sure how long was left on it, so maybe he's like, nah, it's got to be off cooldown by now.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can see that, right? Even with the slight 14k lead, there's still definitely chances for EvilCorp, and that was also without the Phoenix Egg. So I think the DK kind of jumped the gun a little bit on. I don't know if he necessarily had to commit the BKB that early, but yeah, you see the fighting is definitely, it's still there.
Yeah, I mean, he was fairly deep, right? So you can understand why he was maybe a bit worried, but it is that case. You BKB'd, you don't have Elder Dragon Form, and you're not really near any target. You're just using it to try and run away.
Yeah, definitely not the ideal fight for either team, to be fair.
Hey, if you are on equal, you take that, all right? That is win probability bouncing back. You now have a 12% chance to win this game.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily know if it's like that bad for EvilCorp. Like, I could see this Viper, he's getting his Greaves kind of soon. Beast is gonna have book 3 now. I don't know if Drow is close to an item. He's going towards BKB. He has a Yasha. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I feel like he could have done without this Yasha. I think maybe you just go straight into BKB. I feel like it lets you fight so much more easily. But they're getting items. They're getting stronger. There's gonna be at some point there's gonna be a Meteor Hammer on Treant. I think looking at the Comrade lineup, like I would like to see. I don't know if Cancel wants to get like maybe some BKB.
What?
He needs to be. He needs to be able to go in there.
Suggesting he builds like a defensive item. I mean, I feel like Blade Mail is the closest we're getting this game from it.
That's it. That's all we get. Maybe it is.
This is what happens. When you're a very popular streamer and everyone's cheering you on, you're always beating everyone. You're like, yeah, dude, I don't. BKB's for tryhards, okay? I just came here to look flashy.
Yeah, no, you might be right about that one.
Considering he's like got the Mjolnir queued up.
So he's going for the lowest orb on the Ember. It looks like
that's more flashy because now he can primal roll return. Right.
Right.
BKB's like, well, I'm still gonna get primal rolled. I just look stupid, stunned there for 3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean he's still gonna get roared though, right?
That's true, but someone else is gonna get roared as well. All right, that's the thing, right? It's that kind of that middle finger. That kind of situation in the movies you get sometimes where one person's about to die and they just grab the other person by the leg like, I'm taking you with me, sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if that's in his favor though. I feel like he's too big a chunk of net worth to be thinking like that.
Maybe if he pops Blade Mail first, all right, and then you get 4-staffed away by Ench. And then you just go, what's up, Omi? You ain't got 4-star to get you out. Drown.
No, I see where you're going with this, yeah.
Reaching, I think, is where I'm going with this.
Yes, that is one way to put it.
Not enough reach when Evil Corp. That by alarm area would have moved away. Cancel's here. Alright, let's see those flashy players, big boy. Moving in. Here it comes out. They don't want to get too close. He does have that overgrowth on the back line. Look at this. Timber, he's dragged a lot of attention. More than he really wants to. They'll get the kill onto the tree. The egg has been used. Evil Core should be able to just do what they want.
I think you just get out now as Evil Core. I definitely don't think you commit to this now. I think you should just back off and be happy. I don't know if you had to commit the egg right there. Like they get the kill on the Timber and they just traded for a Treant. And even though they keep losing in net worth, I still think you're fine. You're okay with this.
The more you say this, the more the league builds and the more they're starting to sound like in denial esports. It's just like, sure, they've got 6 items each. That's fine.
I mean, that's just how it works sometimes in Dota, I think. Like
it's like effective net worth, right? How much you need.
Yeah, it's like sometimes, with an Alchemist lineup, your gold can just be very skewed. And also, like certain lineups, if you just can't deal with a Tinker or let's say an Anti-Mage or whatever the hero is, then all of the net worth in the world, it doesn't really mean that much. Now, this is not as extreme, obviously, but there's still something to it where Evil Core's teamfight is just so much stronger. Their scalability as well, so...
It's the
longer
case
this game goes,
break it down, it's the skills more than the gold, right?
Yes,
yes. Literally, not player skills, but the fact you have overgrowth, you got supernova. Like, especially even this Viper who's been dumpstered, how valuable is Never Toxin in this game?
No, very, very much so. The Nether Toxin is still very, very helpful, and just all the slows and the fact that he has Greaves, he's so hard to kill at this point.
Alright, so if you could choose, right now, you can be either Drow Ranger or DK in this game. Who would you rather be?
Man, I'd take the Drow, man. I'll take it.
I knew you would. You know what it is? Because you've got that carry mind. You know you can farm quicker with the Drow.
Yes. I don't know, you just feel good, You just feel good. You're just chilling behind your teammates. Your teammates, like, they need to play kind of like a wall around you, Like you imagine their lineup is kind of like...
Oh,
imagine a tank, right? It's like a tank, right?
No, it's like chess, dude. It's the king and everyone else has to protect.
No. That's not it. It's like a tank, right? So Drow, he's like the gunner, right? And the other guys, they just need to protect the gunner. And that way, you can do what you want.
So you're basically a big fan of that carry mentality of I wipe my ass with teammates.
That is one way of putting it. You make me sound like a bad guy here, I'm just trying to win the game. Trying to make me sound like a bad guy.
See, that's what they say to me as well. I'm just trying to win the game. Look, you can't win the game without me. And then there's this poor Exotic Deer on the other side, like, I tank. He mentioned tank. In this situation, Exotic Deer has to go in, absorb everything, and then it's really the cancel show from there on out. Maybe it'll eventually change, though. He's got a lot more mobility now that he's got the spider legs. A lot more tanky now with the AC plus the BKB.
Yeah, the spider legs is a nice choice here, I think, in this game. Having that mobility to kind of just, swoop over cliffs and whatnot.
It's the discount Black Dragon, basically.
Right.
Not that he couldn't afford an axe at this rate with how much gold he's getting. He's getting more than cancel at this stage in the game. They don't have the Aegis now. It's just a question of like, how do they even get in the base with this Aegis? It's almost like E-Corp has to be caught outside the base and forget how the spells work for you to get in.
Yeah, I mean they need to bait these fights into positions where either the Phoenix or the Trinket get caught first, and then they waste one of the spells, and then they can kind of continue the fight from there on out. So they make them waste one of the spells by going on one of those targets, and then they take the fight from there.
Let's see, look, Cancel is looking cool, right? He stunned him. Okay, that's one life down. That is the Primal gone though. And the arrow does connect, but as cool as it looks, yeah, that's gonna be it. That's Cancel going, okay, maybe I overrated my ability to never die.
Yeah, no, one of my early thoughts actually was in this game, I mean, I'm not an immersive player myself, but I feel like getting a Linken's in a game like this could be very useful. Obviously you can't remove the silence, but the fact is there's only this one Beastmaster. And yeah, there's an Atos, but realistically, you're not gonna get both of those off.
That's true. I feel like more often than not, players are reluctant to get Linken Spheres in general, right? Like in terms of the cost of the item for what it's doing for you, it feels like it's not rated highly. Is that just, do you think Linken's is maybe not in a good position right now, or is it just where it needs to be, which is very selective on when you should pick it up?
Yeah, I mean the cost of Linken's now it's not that high. It's only 4.6. But I think it is from my point of view, it is like in these type of games where there are so few disables. That's when Linken's really becomes good. You know, when you're playing against a lot of disables, there's always so many different spells that can break it, and then it becomes kind of pointless. But when it lets you play just that much more offensive, that's when it's really good.
Valama wishes he had a Linken Sphere right now. Primal Roar comes down, the egg as well, try and trap him. Bloody cover the BKB to move through. The Overdrive does connect on him. A flash, he needs to get out this quick. He's getting low. Exotic is here to save the day. The buyback came out from Enchantress trying to arrive at the fight. Snorpy's going to go down. Ruined it too. Stance comes out, but cancel the blade mail on him. Flemeister can't fight it anymore. He has to BKB and run away. Stun comes down to fight, but the TP out attempt by Flemeister should be successful here. That's a defensive BKB to get away. The buyback from Enchantress is a little bit costly, but a favorable fight for the side of Comrades.
Yeah, a very odd decision here to go and jump in and roar the Enchantress 5. I feel like that's like the last target, like absolutely that you want to go for here. I feel like all other targets are way more important.
It's probably that, you know what, it's that feeling as a Beastmaster. You've had all your children turned against you through the game when the enchant comes down to the boards, and you've had enough, right? This is for all your little kiddies. I don't know what this is for though. Flemeister doesn't have a BKB anymore, he's gone. And I believe you just gave them the keys and maybe a month's rent to your base.
That is one way of putting it, yes. Yeah, no.
Base go bye-bye very quickly. This should be 2 lanes.
This should be definitely 2 lanes, and they should be able to just back off and kind of reset. I don't know if they're gonna wait for the next Roche. They could if they wanted to be really patient. They could also maybe just try to start going for the tier 4s if they end up getting some kills here, which I think they will.
Well, they're going in. There it is. You predicted the future. 2 are dead. Blink of an eye, and they also have the Dragon Form in 10 seconds, so yeah, it's highly likely they can hang around here. Like the Blink Dagger in 2 seconds with the DK. They could potentially jump Balaja, but right now they just see that these 2 heroes don't do anything to them, so there's no way of stopping them from sieging. There's no way maybe to stop them from killing. He's obviously tried though. The 4-star to get Balaja away. Don't know if you can get the throw and pull the heroes are up. Maybe, I mean, Phoenix is dead for so long at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, with the DK, with the AC, they're killing these buildings kind of fast, and they're going to be able to force this fight before the Phoenix is out. And I think
they're forced to fight right now.
With that, I don't think that there's much that they can do.
No, that looks like the GG kill right there. I mean, Snorpy bends over and they give him a right spanking. The Overdrive doesn't really achieve much. The Primal Roar is cute, but Cancel says, lol, you've been doing this all game. We're still in this situation. This time he doesn't even die. They'll be able to clean up the drought as the GG comes out. And I believe I asked for a less dominant Festa one. This one went a little bit longer, but I'd measure it similarly to the last one.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like they really did have a fighting chance.